Hello everyone, Dr. Benson again. I wanted to give you a quick overview of Module 2, which is in Google Classroom, and it's about national and state standards. So I wanted to look at this a little bit with you and show you some of the things that I've posted. You don't actually have a large assignment for this module, you just have a discussion post, but I expect them to be some rich ideas and creative thoughts about standards and what they mean to us, because as teachers, part of our job is we are like the medium that takes the standards and the children and we bring them together. So one of the things I thought that was very interesting is this article that I actually posted for you to read that is pretty much your discussion post, but I want your ideas in your discussion post, not just their ideas. But this is based on the public school policies, and it's a blog, but it is based on research, and I found it very helpful and easy to read. And it's talking about the pros and cons of standardized testing, the performance of teachers on meeting different benchmarks. And there's even some videos here that are also very good that I watched as well, and I think you would enjoy those. The Common Core standards were put in place so that nationally we could all kind of be on the same page and what children are learning at different grade levels and in different content areas. So they prepare us competitively with other nations and also within our United States as students move from place to place. So there's some really good things about the standards. Probably the biggest con of the standards is when they're used improperly. So this is going to go through and give you some really good information about the pros and cons of the standards. Again, at your job as a teacher, back to the curriculum, you can't decide necessarily what to teach. Sometimes you can't decide when to teach it, but you can decide how it's taught. So not stressing kids out about standardized tests and telling them if you fail this test, you're not going to get to go to, third grade, or, if you fail this test, you're going to be in big trouble. Those kind of things, messages that are sent to children are very disturbing and certainly not the way standards should be used. We should present them as, you are learning in my class. I'm making sure it's my job as your classroom teacher to make sure that you're prepared for these standardized exams. And then also looking in your classroom, when you do think about assessment, thinking about authentic assessment as well as just assessing these standards. But what are some things that would be meaningful and ways that you could apply a standard and let them do an application activity that would show the mastery of it without being a multiple choice kind of exam. I also gave you the link to the Every Student Succeeds Act, which is basically the last regulations that have been put out by the U.S. Department of Education. So you might want to familiarize yourself with those, especially if you're going on job interviews in the near future. This is also one of my favorite videos, and I think it's just because I love the music, and I think it's so funny because it brings back kind of a comedy approach to the history and the different things that we've experienced in America in education. And I think you'll learn something from it too, but I think it's a fun way to look at our history. You may agree or disagree with some of the things shown there, but it's worth a 4-minute watch. Then we also have, I gave you a link to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. The Arkansas Department of Education has been renamed to the Arkansas Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. And this is their website, and they have posted the standards. They also post resources. There's lots of information here also about the science of reading, and that exam is linked here. But look at this. Look at your grade level. What are you teaching? What content are you teaching? And how familiar are you with these standards? And as you plan your lesson plan for this course, the first thing that you're going to have to do is to look at a standard, and we're kind of using the backward design model of curriculum in that what is the assessment that you want? What standard do you want them to master? And then start with that standard and start planning your assessment, your objective, and the activities all in between that are going to bring you from the objective to the assessment, which basically is the evidence that they have mastered that objective. You hear a lot of talk today about teachers having to unpack standards, and a lot of school districts do this for you. They take the standards for, say, a certain grade level, and then they decide the sequence and scope when you're going to teach it, how you're going to teach it, what does this standard mean? But sometimes teachers themselves have to look at a standard, and maybe the standard really has 5 objectives embedded in that standard, and you have to pull it out exactly. What does it mean, and how can you teach your students in a way that they will master that standard? I also gave you a link to the Common Core standards, and their website, again, has helpful ways to not only teach the Common Core, but why it was created, what you should know about it. It's even got some good information for parents to help children with Common Core and what it means for your state. So I thought that would be helpful as well. So just look over all of these things. In the back of your mind, as you're looking at all this information in Module 2, you're going to be thinking about Module 3 and the future lesson plan that you're going to create for this course. We're only going to create one lesson plan, and we're going to kind of walk you through how to do that. We're going to post it so that your classmates and fellow colleagues can look at it too. Those who are teaching might be able to give some great advice to those that are not teaching, or all of us bring different things to the table here, and we can all give advice and help. So that is Module 2, which is basically a lot of reading and one discussion post. So thank you, and let me know. You can always email me if you have any questions.